about to begin pretty soon. Here we go.
Yep, no problem.
Stuka Joe here. We're here with Philippe Thibault from Avalon Digital. And Philippe, welcome.
Nice to meet you. I'm pleased to be here with you.
And you're not a stranger to the Bellota. You've been before.
Yeah, I've been to every edition except the first two, so it's my sixth.
Six?
Yeah.
First of all, so your shirt has a lot of stars.
Yeah, and I usually enjoy the place and the friendly atmosphere here. It's well organized, and for me as a neighbor from France, going to Spain is like almost vacation.
That's great. That's great to hear. So, Philippe, we have a game set up in front of us. Can you tell us about the game?
Yeah, this game is named Hispania, which is the Latin name for Spain, or the whole area, Spain and Portugal. Mm-hmm. And the game is a very simple way to recreate 1,500 years of Spanish history.
How many years?
1,500.
1,500, okay.
Yeah, it starts from the era of Carthage in the ancient times till the almost the end of the Reconquista in the middle of the Middle Ages. So it's a lot of years.
Wow.
And the players, 4 of them, they are distinguished by their own colors, red, green, blue, yellow. And they have different number of nations that they play with in succession. They don't arrive at the same time on the board. Okay. Each nation has its own nation card where a lot of explanations are given to the players. And each nation has its own goal. And the purpose of the game is like make your nation succeed, score the maximum number of points according to your instructions, and have fun. And that's how it is. Among the nation, player has about 6 to 8 nations. There are 30 nations in total.
How many?
30 in total.
13 in total?
Yes, 30.
Oh, 30?
Yeah,
okay.
Spread over the players. Basically, one player will have a very strong nation at some point in the game, 2 medium average nations, and then smaller ones. Okay. And the goal of the game is like make maximum score with your big nation, try to survive with the medium ones, and the little ones are just like push-ups. And so they are here for the fun. But they can be, if they are left alone and quiet for the whole game, they can be make the game in your favor. So basically, the structure of the game is the same. Every turn is the same, like each nation in succession according to the turn order. Here they have a number. They play one after the other, and they do the same thing every time. That is, they get their money. This is the little numbers on the map. They buy units with the money, then they move, attack, and then they see if they can survive. That is, they need enough region to pay and feed their troops. Okay. That's about it, every turn. The only exception is that some major nations that you have, like here we are playing the Greek German invasion of the Dark Ages. Some nations will have what we call major invasion, and in that case they will move and attack twice, which gives them a momentum in the things. And usually they come with a lot of troops, so the other guy are just like run and survive.
See there, there's a lot of yellow.
Yeah. You have the Alanus, here you have the Vandals, the Sueves, the Visigoths. All these nations invaded Spain at some point. Some of them carved a huge realm over the country. At the moment, we are at the end of the Roman Empire. Rome is crumbling. A few local people speaking Latin survive, have nice cities, and devastation is coming for France by the German invaders. This is one of the scenarios. The game has 6 scenarios. A complete campaign of 21 turns, which will take a lot of time, but you can play different shorter scenarios according to your taste. We are doing the German invasion, but you could play Al-Andalus scenario, which is the Muslim conquest, or the Reconquista, which is the counterattack of the Christians.
Okay, so that's good. You have shorter
a different number of choice for your playing time, availability, taste, whatever. And the game is inspired by the Master of All, which was Britannia, created by Lewis Pulsifer so many years ago. I know the game very well because Lewis is one of my partners. I did a computer version of his game. Okay. By the way, this one is also on computer next Friday. So, and you can play on computer to train yourself for the board game, which will come on Kickstarter probably in a few weeks. What is interesting compared to the previous editor. The original designer is a German guy who applied the same recipe like Britannia to Spain.
Yes.
I had an agreement. I know him for the last 30 years, and so we discussed together. I acquired the rights of the game, and I agreed with him on one point. When the game was designed in the 90s, it was fun to play, but taking ages. You needed like 20 hours to play the game. And one of the reasons that the game was nice, but there were too many dice rolling, too many slow action, calculation of odds, modifiers, all this kind of thing, which were like a waste of time, kind of. So players nowadays have less time, they want quicker games. So the main new point of this game is a combat system. The rest of the game is basically the same. It's fast play, move, attack, and kill. What is different now is that your combat units will either roll a white or a black die. The difference between this one is 30% better.
30% better the black die.
It's the black than the white. So standard is white, and in some cases you get black dice. Black dice when you have better units, leaders, knights, castles, all these kind of original things that don't people happen. Or if you defend in your own stronghold in the mountain of Spain, then you roll black. Overall, the balance is fast. Only 2 rounds of combat, so it's very fast. 1 die per unit. The result directly on the die. Either you kill somebody outright, skull, or you inflict hits, like the arrows. And each unit has 2 life points. So that's basically it.
Has 2 what?
Life points.
Oh, 2 life points. So it's
the number of hits
full
they can exactly. So when they are destroyed,
you give the people an idea of a unit here.
Yeah, this is a Roman unit from Hispania.
See if I can focus.
Yeah, and when the unit is damaged, you just flip it, and you see that it has only 1 hit point or life remaining.
There's a Roman unit. This would be the
full strength, half strength. The number is a little gray dot. We will improve slightly some information on the counter so that you see even better who is in good shape.
I see the 2 dots is full strength.
Yeah, and 1 dot is by fate. We will increase the difference.
Okay.
It's the same thing appears for the cities and castles. When they are destroyed, they have the burnt side. You can see the flames.
Oh, nice.
Like the forts here. So when they are burnt, they are destroyed, and in some cases, some nation can rebuild them to acquire for themselves.
I like this is what the game would look like when you're playing it, right?
Yes, exactly. This is a setup.
I like it that there's no huge stacks.
Yeah. You
look at the city and you know if the city is
why we have a big board.
Is okay or
big
burned, you
counters.
just flip it. Instead of, because in other games you have to fish for a burn marker.
Yeah.
So here you just flip it.
And the information is there. Large board so that you can put everything in. Like people like me who have vision issues, then it's good to see everything at once. And another factor which is helping, I'll explain this after.
Okay.
Another factor is helping the stacking. The number of counters per region is very limited. It's either 2 or 3.
2 or 3, okay.
So it's very easy to count. You don't bother checking your huge piles falling, so it's very fun. Here we have some markers. This is typical of Rome, that they have Roman roads. And when you have this again, you don't count the movement counts through the province.
Oh, these are Roman roads.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But here we are at the Dark Ages, so Romans have gone, and so the roads will slowly vanish. They are not maintained, except if you have cities and some kind of engineering there. Anyway, so you move, fight, and then grab territory. The trick is you have to feed your troops. So you need, for every 2 troops, you need 1 region for feeding them. So you cannot have a huge stack standing alone somewhere because everybody will starve. So you need to conquer space. And the race is between the different nations. Everybody wants space. There are only 40 regions, 30 nations, so there's not room for everyone. And so it's hide and seek or find and kill kind of game. Of course, the momentum depends on the different turns when you have key moments in the game. Like here, turn 6, Rome has crumbled, the barbarians are at the gates, they invade, then they will take 5, 6 turns to settle their own kingdoms, and when they at least feel quiet, then a huge wave of Muslim invaders arrive and kill everyone, and then the survivors build castles and knights and counterattack. So basically, this is Spanish history for 1500 years.
So you got 4 players, and when you have 4 players, the nations that you will have are already predetermined, right?
Yes, yes, they
For
are.
example, here I have the yellow.
Yeah.
The yellow player would have, for example, here Lusitania.
Lusitania, which is already in play on this scenario. This is the same in 2 different languages.
Ah, okay.
Then they will have
Alanos.
the Alanos, which are Germanic and nomadic invaders, and then they will get Byzantium later in the turn. This is only on this scenario. In total, the yellow players has 8 nations to play with.
Oh, okay.
They start with Carthage. At the end, they will have the Almoravid invaders from Morocco. On average, it's very well balanced.
And if you have less than 4 players, can you still play it?
Technically, no, because of game balance, but for fun, you can. It's very easy, and I have some suggestions in the rule book, like how to assign to 2 or 3 players. I can probably design in maybe on Board Game Geek or as an extra solutions like to how to alter. This morning, we are only 3 players, and I was handling the little green and blue were very small. So the red and yellow had a lot of fun, and I was just making like a show of myself. But it was part of the scenario. It was nice, and it was not unbalanced. So it was okay. But basically, more fun for 4 because it's faster. You don't spend hours and say, "Whoa, I am playing." You only have 2 or 3 nations at a time, so it's not an headache. And usually, I have this 3 green here, this 4 green here, and then all these greens that are verb and move through Spain. So basically, as a green player, I don't have much to do, except when my Muslims invaders come, when they come with 30 units and have to catch all the map.
And these come from Africa, I suppose.
Yes, they will arrive in Africa and invade from the south. The funny part of this is Spain can be invaded from the sea, from the north, or from the south. So you can never be sure that you are in a safe position. There are always risks. The order of play is predetermined. So you can see basically the colors alternate. The funny trick is that everybody hates you. I mean, even yourself. And that's the trick. I mean, you cannot have alliances. I mean, this green hates this green. So they cannot fight together as allies.
So what do? You have to attack your own people?
You have to attack your own people. And the only case where this happened not to attack your own people is when one of the big nations, and there are only 5 or 6 of them, they come as overlords. And then if they kill a small one, they say, okay, now I spare you, but you are my friends. In that case, they no longer attack each other, but the smaller guy is allowed to survive as a vassal.
Like a vassal, yeah.
Yeah, so you will provide some money and troops, and the other guy will say, okay, I'm very nice with you. So this happens especially if you have the Romans. They can take half of the map, and the rest will be like slaves. They will work for them.
And the scenario that we have here is like the start of the game when the Romans are still
this is the second part of the game. After the collapse of Rome, what remains is the rest of Roman civilizations, like locals speaking Latin, and what threatens them is that all these German invaders, barbarians, they are at the gate and they will run through Spain. So in one turn from there, you will see half of the green, half of the red will be done. They will be killed. And the other nation will carve their own kingdoms. And the red, of course, will have his own red barbarians, not friendly with the red Romans, that have their own agenda. And then more reds will come, more blue will come.
Yeah, but I think by the time those red barbarians come in, there's not a lot of Romans left, right?
Yes, because the other barbarians play before and they will have swept the place.
Yeah.
So basically, it's a very dynamic game. You'd never get bored. Even with a small nation, there's always something to do. And if you have nothing to do, you play in less than 30 seconds. Okay, my money, my count, okay, next. And this morning, we did the first 5 turns in less than 2 hours.
And you said how many scenarios?
6 right now, and I'll probably add more in the living rules or in Board Game Geek.
Okay.
In the computer games, we have more. And in fact, the good thing is our computer game version allows us to play test things that we will later put in the board game because they more or less play the same. The difference being the computer use an automatic system, so you have less management to do. But here, the fun is to be with your friends and roll funny dice. So
let me show the dice because I love these custom dice. They're just wonderful.
Yeah, the trick is that no brain working. I mean, you just see the result and that's it.
Yeah, you don't have to consult
no tables,
outside.
no odds, no modifiers.
It moves fast.
Yes, and that's the reason because the original game was excellent, but we were taking ages throwing dice.
Yeah, remember I have that one, Britannia.
Yeah, and me too. And then I said, wow, no player would like this today.
Yeah, but that was the time that Avalon Hill would publish 4 games a year.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, those times are gone. Yeah.
And you know, the first original version of this game was made in 1992 by a fan of Britannia. So he cloned the system to Hispania. He added more rules. Then I came, I had this new system. I changed a little bit the map for play balance. And overall, what we have found so far is that the game is playing fast, fun, and even with somebody who never heard the red, I can explain the rule in like less than 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. So you get the basic, it's very simple. Yeah. And it's a lot of replayability depending on the time you have, because, you know, 4 nations, 4 colors. Yeah. If you are fed up with the green, next time play the reds.
Sure.
And you get to learn the game after time.
Now, this game, your company does digital games, computer games. So this game is going to be available in computer format. So for people who are interested in playing it, because the good thing about the computer version is there you can play one alone. Nation and the AI will play the other 3.
Everything,
right?
Yeah. Exactly. So that's a good point. You know, my Avalon Digital, the company is 12 years old already. Our goal is to publish games, either that we design and develop ourselves as computer games, or from friends, like the Spanish version is done by a Spanish studio and we publish it for them. And I noticed, especially last year when I did some other games, like I'll show you War and Peace later on. Yeah. We do take a license from the author of the original board game, which was a success. Then we apply our strength and our people to compute a digital version that usually works quite well. And I noticed sometimes that it's also interesting that when we have redone the computer version that people love, then there is room for, let's say, reprinting or improving the original board game. That's the case. I will show you the new War and Peace 7 edition, because the others say, oh, the computer is so nice, why don't you make it again as a print? And that's the trick. Here, this one will come probably less than a month after the computer game, because we developed both in parallel, and each is helping the other. So you can play whatever you like. Alone, you can play on the computer. When you feel okay, grab friends, make a joint game together, and you feel at home because it's more or less the same gameplay.
Okay, sounds great.
And if you want, I can show you.
Yeah, let's go over to the other tables.
The other games.
Sure.
Okay. So here, for example, we have this very famous game. Was designed by Mark McLaughlin.
Mark McLaughlin, yes.
It was like 40 years ago. I bought the original in the 1980s, and a wide number of war gamers knows this game. It's a legend.
I have 3 copies of this one.
Yeah.
The Avalon Hill game.
Yeah, I have the Avalon Hill and the 6th edition, which was printed 6 years ago, which is totally out of print. And I acquired from Mark, who is now a good friend of mine, the license to make the computer game, which was done by one of my studios in France, not by myself, but a good friend too. And the people enjoyed it. We sell like hotcakes. It's a very good game.
And the box cover looks wonderful.
Yeah, it's a picture from the Louvre, an official French painting, free of rights, of course. And one day we talked with Mark, and he said, okay, the computer game sells like hotcakes, but I really want a new edition of my game. Okay. I say, yes, but why should I reprint something that has already been printed 6 times? Yes. What do you offer? And then Mark came up with, okay, I made variants in the general magazine for this game, so why don't we make them as standard? And that's why this reprint, which will be available to the consumers like probably in May or June, this is the first factory copy. Okay. So there are still changes to improve, but overall the game is almost ready. And what we have added on request from Mark was a new system of events through playing cards, traditional playing cards, but with historical or gameplay events, and then a increasing number of scenarios, a full book of extra scenarios that did not exist in the original. Like
I remember the original didn't have the These Italian campaign scenarios.
Exactly, they are all there. Yes, they are all here.
They're all here. You have the Egyptian.
Yes, the French Revolution,
campaign,
the Polish.
Marengo. None of that was in the original.
Exactly.
The original start. I remember the Son of Austerlitz. That was the original.
Exactly. And now you start like 20 years before, and you can try that. Of course, we did all the counters to match them. This is a big, high-quality counters, larger than before, because all of us are getting old and we need larger counters.
Very, very nice.
With nice pictures.
These are Austrians, I suppose.
Yes, they are Austrian. I have every nation here.
You can see they got rounded counters, they're very thick. And so yes, you don't have to, if you clip this, you should go to jail. Anybody who clips these counters. You don't have to clip these counters.
You don't need to clip, you just punch, and it's very solid.
No, these look great, and
the company we use has already done very nice product. The map is a map used in the digital version, so the players who already bought the digital version will feel at home. We didn't change things, even if as a French and the geographer, I didn't like Mark's things, but it is his game, so we keep things like they were, because they are designed like this for play balance. We had a few additions, like a new fortress here, a new city there. I changed the borders here, but minor things.
I'm going to close up so folks, you can see the detail. There you see Paris.
Yeah,
and Paris you see the bridges.
The little bridge. You have the location of historical battle like Waterloo here or Austerlitz.
I remember the original game had the river running through the middle of the hex.
Yes, that was.
Eventually they changed it to the hex sides, which is I think a lot better.
Which is the case now. We have a lot of information: production cities, weather zones, national borders, blockade boxes for the port. The naval boxes for privateer wars, diplomatic tracks, incomes, a lot of things, foreign wars.
You have the diplomatic tracks?
Yes, here, like you can play diplomacy to make countries change alliances, but the nice thing is that some of the event cards can torpedo your diplomatic strategy. You're French, you're allied with Spain, and the allies play Spanish War. And then Spain
you can ruin your diplomatic efforts.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's everything has been played and tested by Mark for years, because, for example, this variant has been published the first time like almost 20 years ago. So we know it works.
Yeah, I know it has a following, this game.
Yes.
There's people that just play this game over and over. They love it.
We have many thousands of digital copies, and when we launched a pre-order campaign for the board game reprint, this is a reprint. The game is rather expensive. It's $140, all included. That is delivered to your place.
Yes.
We have already more than 300 pre-orders already. So basically, we are sure to manufacture it. We already paid the factory, so it's more or less a matter of when the factory is ready to ship.
So this is available for pre-order right now?
Right now, directly on the website, which you can get here from the QR code. It's war/and/peace, War and Peace game, etc. Just write it here, and you go directly to the shop.
Okay.
I'll give you the link directly.
Okay, I'll try to add it to the description after we load up this video.
The website allows you to buy either the computer game if you want, or you can buy it directly on Steam, or you can buy the board game as a pre-order right now.
And this one particularly, because some people may not. This is like
This is part of the grand campaign system of the game. Okay. So you have a specific. You have the rules of play, which are rather, let's say, consistent and small.
And the rules of play, that's something that I saw yesterday. You showed me that, the rule book is not 30 pages.
It's very small.
18. So if you're going to play the scenarios.
But look at the size of the campaign game, 26. So it's larger than the rules.
The campaign game, because you have the diplomatic rules.
And then you have the scenario book with so many scenarios. You have another, that's the variant, the cards, the new revolution scenarios. Okay. Each card that you play is detailed and explained.
It looks very,
and you have player heads in a thick carton. small comments of what was Napoleonic Wars. All these things, the rules basically are the same with some improvement from the 6th edition, which was a very good upload by John Gant and Mark McLaughlin.
Yes.
And we added the new content Mark wanted in the game.
Okay.
And just for your information, we also published recently last year this game.
Yeah, I remember seeing that you had this game, a prototype last year. Now
it's fully available. It's already in the US and in Europe. You can buy it directly from the shop.
All Wars collection.
And you can buy the computer game version. And the funny trick is, computer or board plays exactly the same.
Exactly the same. Okay.
So we play one or the other, you'll be finished. This one is playable normal PC or Steam Deck, which is like a console, or as a board game with a nice board. Also, custom
really
dice for fast play. A complete game is less than 2 hours.
Yeah. Those look really nice, yeah.
You know, this is an industrial process. I try to have also things in common because when they work, why change them?
Okay, yeah, you don't lose a winning formula.
Yeah. Just for your information, if you have 1 second, I'll show you the computer game of Hispania.
Sure.
What you have seen on the board also exists on the computer. And this will be released next Friday.
This is over the Hispania computer version.
Exactly.
Wow, looks great.
This was developed by a Spanish studio next from here, with the help of Miguel of Headquarter Company and myself. And this is
Miguel Santa Cruz
from HQ.
From Headquarter Games. They're going to publish the game in Spanish, right?
Exactly.
Yep.
The computer game is in 6 different languages.
Okay.
The board game will be French, English, Spanish.
Oh, okay, great.
And we'll probably deliver English-Spanish version, mainly for the market, because the main market is Spain and North America.
Okay, sounds great. And there's another game that you showed me yesterday which caught my attention.
Yeah. Which was...
this one over here. That one.
Oh, Corsica. Yeah, well, in fact, this one is a prototype that I will present next week next month, to the island of Corsica authorities. It's exactly the same gameplay with its own special rules, but on the history of Corsica. Corsica is one of the most beautiful islands in Mediterranean, my place of love. And strangely enough, the paradise is hell. I mean, there was a very active history with a lot of battles and bloodshed. And so the game also recreates 1600 years of Corsican history, from the Greeks to Napoleon.
From the 1600 years?
Yes, it starts before the birth of Rome and ends in the middle of the 18th century.
And how many players is this one?
4 again.
4 players.
Same kind of gameplay, same simple gameplay.
Use the same engine.
Yes, the same rules.
And Hispania, yeah. So you have the order there, the order of play, the nations, the color code.
Everything, so that the player who knows this one, they can play this one in less than 5 minutes because the same rules. And the cherry on the cake, also a computer version.
Oh, you're going to have a computer version also?
Yes,
right?
because my heart of business is like doing these computer versions, but I am a board gamer, a war gamer. You know, I design Europa Universalis and these kind of games. So every time I can do a board game, I'll do it.
And the beauty about the kind of games you're showing me are multiplayer games. Multiplayer, sometimes it's hard to find 4 people, so you just play out the computer version.
Exactly.
And then you polish your skills so that when you play with 4 people,
but
then
your friends can do the same.
Yeah.
So you have experts when you do a real game.
The quality of play is better. It's more interesting than
there is nothing that's
fumbling around
better
with the
than
rules.
finding friends. But anyway, we have to live with time. We like time. We like opportunities to meet. So it's good to have another version to enjoy it anyway and train yourself.
Oh, no, that's great.
Yep.
So Philippe, I want to thank you for showing me the games. They look very interesting. I'm gonna keep an eye on them, especially that Hispania that is coming out soon.
Yep.
And see if I can do a video on the game. Do you know?
You're most welcome.
Do you know if the rules are going to have like an extended example of play or something like that?
Yes. Right now, in the manual, but I will do a separate leaflet. But in the manual, every part of the game, like combat, stacking, movement, everything.
You got the mechanics laid out with examples.
Yeah, and what I will do, and I have already designed it for Corsica, is like one full turn, describe, replay, everything in details.
That I think is very helpful for people.
Exactly, because when you read this, you know 80% of everything.
Yeah.
And then you have to refine, but overall, so this is on the plan to make the life easier for players.
Okay, well, I want to thank you, Philippe.
My pleasure.
For showing me the games. They all look very interesting. It's Avalon Digital. Find their website. I'm gonna, after I get back to the room, I'm gonna see if I can add some links to the description. So I want to thank you, Philippe. And
my pleasure, Jose. It was, as usual, very nice to speak with you.
Okay.
And we all appreciate all the very nice videos you are doing regularly.
Oh no, thank you very much. Let me see if we have any comments here. We have some comments. Yes, it's similar to the Britannia game.
Yeah.
Irena Posner says it sounds very familiar. Yeah, it's like the Britannia game. Yes, same. It shares the same lineage. Let me say, okay.
Yeah. So, see, I would say it's a children of this game.
Okay.
That's changed a little bit. It's not exactly the father, but it's very close. People will feel familiar, and the computer games they play the same. The Britannia is already on the computer since 2 years. It has a good number of sales. People like it, and so we reused this engine and developed it.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Of course, more features here.
Okay. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Philippe. And with that, we will leave it for now. So thanks everybody for watching, and stay tuned to more coverage of the Bellota Con. Take care.